Hey everyone, it's Dr. Chris, Chief Science Officer at Further Food. I'm here to talk to you today all about stress. So I see tons of patients who are suffering the consequences of chronic stress. It's really important to understand the many faces of stress because some of us feel that we deal with our stress really well but don't realize how much it is affecting us. Things like anxiety or that feeling of overwhelm are easy things to associate with stress, but there's things that are a little bit harder. Things like fatigue, things like digestive problems or some skin issues, thyroid health, fertility are connected with stress. Your mind just racing, you're tired at the end of the day and your mind is just going crazy once your head hits the pillow. You have a hard time getting yourself out of bed in the morning, but then 10, 11 o'clock, your energy is back. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're ready for a nap or you would do anything for a quick little snack. These are all the manifestations of stress. Why is this important? Well, we live in a day and age of chronic stress. Stress, the response, many of you may be familiar with, is called the fight or flight response. Well, what is this? That's that response that in the face of stress, you can run away from that bear. You hear the stories of someone picking up a car off their toddler. That's because of stress. But then on the flip side, it's also stress goes up, it causes a focusing of the mind. It allows you to get that project done in the 11th hour when you didn't think you had enough time. Well, what's causing this? Well, there's this powerful hormone called cortisol. Cortisol increases in the face of stress. Cortisol acutely is great. What gives you that energy to run away from the bear or lift up the car or focus to get your work done when you thought you needed 10 times the amount of time. But when it's there chronically, that's when some of those problems, the mind racing, anxiety, fatigue, digestive challenges, thyroid, fertility, all of these things start to become affected. Well, what's tying all that stuff together? Because it's kind of it's pretty amazing that stress has these impacts all throughout the body and cortisol is so powerful. Well, there's something called the Hpa Axis. It's the hypothalamus, which collects all the information, the stressors from outside the body or inside the body. The stress of sitting in traffic versus the stress of having a virus and having the flu. Those are both stresses on the body. The hypothalamus picks that up. And then it sends a message to something called the pituitary, the P in this. The pituitary is something that sends out a signal to all of these different glands and organs in the body. The adrenal gland is one of them. That's one of the things that most people associate most with stress. Then there's the thyroid. That's how it connects. So you could call it the HPAT for thyroid, and then even G for gonad, things like testes and ovaries. That's where fertility is impacted because if you're overstimulating, or the pituitary is overstimulating these organs and glands, it's going to cause this excessive hormone release and ultimately imbalance. Our hormones are like a symphony. They need to be in lockstep. You can't have too much of certain hormones and operate efficiently. So in comes this amazing herb called ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is, in my opinion, absolutely magical when it comes to helping with stress. Why is it? Well, it helps to modulate the responses of the Hpa Axis. So when I say modulate, it's kind of like keep it in this perfect little band. I like to think of the three little bears, where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. So the cool thing about ashwagandha, when you're overstimulated and tuned up and have a hard time sleeping at night, it helps to bring you down. If you've got fatigue and you have a hard time getting going and you're just tired and sluggish and draining, it helps to bring you up. So how I had mentioned that 2 o'clock in the afternoon lull, if you're someone who has that, if you are one of my patients, that's one of the cardinal signs that I say ashwagandha is for you. The other one is you wake up in the morning. You have a hard time getting going. You need to kind of get that cortisol up to get your body moving a little bit. Ashwagandha is great for that as well. It's one of those pieces that the Hpa Axis and the release of cortisol touches so many things throughout your body. The ability of ashwagandha to work at this root cause of so many different challenges that you may be facing is a great place to start to see if you even need to pursue any other options or interventions for those challenges you're facing.